everybody. If you are new to my channel, welcome. And if you've been following me, watching my videos, thank you. And thank you for everybody's get well wishes. And I will do another video on, I swear, I think that my YouTube channel probably saved my life. And the person that came on and told me to look into the Lyme disease. So I did it immediately. I was literally at the doctor within a half hour of getting that email, and I'm waiting on my Lyme disease test results, and I actually had a bullseye, so I'm pretty sure I have it, and that's probably why I've had so many problems. But I'm almost better now, and I actually have been treating it the whole time with the oregano. Boom! So I was actually already healing myself, and the pains that I was feeling like under my skin were actually dying. So I'll do another video on that. So today I want to talk about something a little more controversial having to do with me. And just know, like, whenever I do one of these videos, this is a lot of weird things that have happened to me, like, throughout my entire life. So when I do these videos, I'm actually, like, I had CPS at my door because somebody was, like, claiming that I was mentally insane. But not on my beliefs, actually, like, that I made up bugs. Imaginary bugs bit me and I got imaginary Lyme disease. Okay. So anyways, so when I come out and do these videos, like, just know, like, I have to answer for them. So anyways, this actually started. Now, how, because people say, well, who are you? And I mean, I know who I am as an incarnate, but it's sort of, it's not irrelevant, but it doesn't really matter who I've been in the past. What matters is who I am now. So I am me. I'm Tony. So my name was supposed to be Rose. So that's the thing. I got named after my grandfather, but my name was supposed to be Rose, and my mom just changed it at the last minute, which I was always mad my whole life, because I would have been a completely different person if my name was Rose. Growing up with, like, a boy's name, I was always, you know, getting made fun of. It's just a little bit different. So, and I only have brothers, so it's just strange. But anyways, just changes you. The Queen of Spades. So this is a little bit, so people say, who are you? And I just say, you know, I'm the Queen of Spades. I'm Wonder Woman. I shoot the moon. And people don't understand what that means. So I'm going to explain it. And I'm wearing this necklace. The Web Company. So who is the Queen of Spades? Let's see. So we'll just start out with my dream. My dream, I had this dream in, let's see, I want to say 1999 or maybe 2000. So this dream, I'm in a box. I'm in, like, a crate, like a military crate. And I don't know if I'm in a building or I'm on like a freight train or something, but they're keeping me in a box. They have me in a box. And somebody that I know personally, who's a former West Point professor in Special Forces, like, in my dream, he's, like, in, like, a Green Beret or something, and he's, like, dressed in military gear, and he comes out, and he pulls me, unlocks this box, he pulls me out of this box, and he takes this black veil off of me, and he kind of, like, grabbed me by my shoulders, and he said something weird to me, like, they were talking to some psychic in the other room, and I was like, what is going on? Like, this is weird. There's all these other crates around me, but I was just out of this crate, and he kind of said, Tony, you are Madame Sophia, you are the Rosemary. And then he looked because there was noise, and he put me back in this box and put the veil over me and put me back in this box. And I woke up. And I have a lot of dreams as a child that when I started to look up the Illuminati MK Ultra programming, it was very discerning for me to be able to see this stuff and go, wow. I mean, this was like the Rosetta Stone to the mysteries in my life. So this dream was one. I later, before that, I think it was, there's a lot of time stamps. Like, for instance, when the Heaven's Gate cult was doing their ritual, and 39 of them died, 39, master number, one of the things was I was in Heavenly Valley during the Heaven's Gate. So, which has to do with me specifically. And I'm in Heavenly Valley with this military family. We're staying at the Ridge Tahoe. And basically, these are supposed to all be people that are a lot smarter than me. I mean, that's what you think if you're coming into this group of people. You would think, I mean, they all speak, most of them speak multiple languages, and all kinds of stuff. So you would think that you are, you know, stupid coming into these people or not as smart as them. So what happened is during the evening time, they wanted to play hearts, and I had never played before, and so they told me basically how to play. And all of these individuals that were sitting at the table, I shot the moon. I didn't just win, I shot the moon, which is like almost impossible if you know how to play hearts. Shooting the moon is extremely difficult, especially if there's so many people playing. I think it's 4 people, but I don't know how many people actually played spades, or how many people actually play. I don't know if we say spades or if it's called hearts. I think it's called hearts, yeah. And you shoot the moon. So I shot the moon, which was like a big deal because it's like almost impossible. So I never thought anything of it, except for like I happened to win a lot of card games, which is Black Dahlia programming, which is the daisy I used to see when I was a child. And my husband knows all about this. I used to go to sleep, and when I would fall asleep, I would get this like weird feeling. It's like I was there, but I wasn't there. And it would be like a disconnection. Like I would feel like I was floating above my body. And then I would feel this closing in. It would always felt like a puffy red, like cloud thing coming in, and it would always feel like it was a very strange feeling. I started feeling it again around my 33rd birthday, and I one time I came out of it, and I was like, I haven't felt that since I was a child. That was really weird. But the last thing I used to see before it would completely close in would be a daisy. And it was only one time I saw the daisy, and I remember being a little girl, and being like, oh, I saw a daisy this time, like, because I would always try to look into this darkness that would close in on me. It was like an ether. And this one time I remember seeing it was just a white daisy. It wasn't pink or anything like on, you know, Monty Python, but it was a daisy. Okay, so later on, I shoot the moon. I'm very good at card games. I oftentimes will win. One time I played gin, and I literally took 0 points. I literally like beat everybody. Everybody. I mean, I didn't even score 1 point. I beat everybody, and they were like, dude, are you like a genius? I'm like, genie, but not genius. I don't know. But, so I just had like and I found out later on that a lot of the card games and winning card games is like some sort of programming. And that, my nose itches, that might be actually, genetic. So, what happened more recently was I found out I was the Queen of Spades, and it just kind of came to me. I knew I'm getting into some serious stuff here. I knew that I was the Black Madonna. I knew that that I was the dark girl, the aquatic twin of this character that you hear about, and one of the dragon queens. And so I have a lot of problems. I mean, not problems, but issues. Like, I look up a lot of Illuminati stuff. I look up this stuff, and it's just all about like these evil dragon queens and like all this horrible shit. And I'm just like, man, I know who I am. I know what I'm doing. I know what's going on. Like, this is not me. What they were saying. Like, why are they pushing all this like reptilian and draconian and all this different stuff? So I really look into it with an open mind when I look into that stuff, because obviously you're not going to find out anything that was meant for you to find on the internet. If you do, it'll be gone next time you look. Okay. So what happened was my friend's mother passed away, and when we were at our house, we found like a gypsy book of cards. Now, I could care less about what this book says about dates and numbers, because like later on, my friend was like, no, this isn't your card. According to this book, it's like, you're this or that. I'm like, I really don't give a shit what that book says. Like, I opened that book to look up this, the Queen of Spades. I didn't look at the back and find my birthday. I know who I am. I don't care what the gypsies say I am. Because there's all these other people, they do not want this pantheon back. So, people who claim that, oh, these people say that they have a divine right to rule. Well, you guys are supposed to be Christians, and you're saying they have a divine right to rule. What if they do have a divine right to rule? What if God did choose people to rule and reign over people in justice and liberty for all? Okay? What if they did? And then these people come in and say, like, no, they don't agree with that. Well, you need to take it up with your creator. So I was basically, like, tripped. I was so tripped out when I got this. I got a copy of it from her book, and I will just read it to you, and then I'm going to show you another link to me in the 4,400 or the 144,000. Okay, so it's in the car. It's in the cards. Have you seen that little magnet. It's like a little Madame Sophia in a little like booth, you know, the little like fortune telling booth where she boop, spits the card out like at the carnival. It's in the cards. It's not in the cards. Okay. Spades, knowledge, desire for knowledge, aloofness, reacting, judging. Okay, I just recently became a Libra. I was a Scorpio before, and now I'm a Libra. It's all part of Ophiuchus, being his foot is underneath the Libra and the Scorpio, because the two gods become one. Je ronda harevo. That is what it is. That is the first song that my husband and I sang when we met. It's pretty crazy. It's Sanskrit. Okay? Okay. So, objective, intelligent judgment, intuitive powers of observation. So, which my powers of observation have not been my own. There's so much divine presence in my life to orchestrate my life in that way. So, the Queen of Spades. My husband and I went all through this too. We were just like, whoa. It basically says she's the Black Madonna in here, and this is just the Queen of Spades. Queen of Spades, positive. An inelegant woman, intuitive, strong, wise, calm, dignified, strict, aloof, just, benevolent, subtle, and practical. Negative, vengeful, aggressive, cruel, secretive, deceitful, calculating, untrustworthy, a dangerous opponent, superficially attractive. All four queens in the deck represent a facet of the receptive principle, and the Queen of Spades does this via intelligence. Her judgment is practical, well-considered, logical, and if she expresses an opinion about something, it is an intellectual rather than an emotional one. Her intuition never lets her down, not even in the emotional situations, which she generally finds difficult to handle. This card describes a person whose thirst for knowledge is insatiable, and who has little patience for the ignorance and mental laziness of other people. She needs freedom of action, detests interference by third parties, and often avoids marriage. Her uncertainty in regards to matters of feeling is caused by an overly analytical attitude, further strengthening her position in regard to marriage in general, which you have to know, like, my husband and I got married because, like, the church made us. Like, they didn't make us, but we basically were told by this Tim and June Ainley, people that I talked about in the other video, about people abusing the youth, that we were not going to be accepted unless we had our union acknowledged by the civil authorities. That's what she said. So, here we go. Civic authorities, whatever she said. Here we go. Caused by an analytical attitude, further strengthening her position in regard to marriage in general. The Queen of Spades would not be described as domestic, which I am domestic, but I'm also something else. But she is a strongly maternal element that makes her seem strangely aloof yet warm. Whenever she suffers on account of something or someone, she suffers long and deeply. She is neither devoted nor humble, and never giving up control of herself in any alliance. She is generous and spends her money as quickly as she earns it. She permits herself this pleasure because her performance is usually exceptional and provides her with more money than she needs. She possesses a gift of leadership and is best suited to a profession. Trade or general business is not her long suit. Her weak area is her apparent lack of sympathy. For a little more tolerance on her part would bring a better reception to those important to her in business. All in all, the Queen of Spades is a creative, inspired, inventive woman who can see future events before they arrive and is able to work ahead of her time. From a superficial point of view, this card represents a dark woman, the Black Madonna. This has nothing to do with race, nor is it an indication of wickedness, as one so often hears. Still, waters run deep, and this describes the Queen of Spades. The woman symbolized by this card tends to hide her feelings under a mantle of dignity, especially later in life, and she may appear impassive, haughty, cool, or unapproachable. This is a difficult woman to gauge, but her friendship is worthwhile seeking. Once she has given it, she remains loyal no matter what lies ahead. On the other hand, she can be implacable, cruel, and a merciless enemy. A woman like this should be confronted openly because she has a sixth sense for deceit and treachery. If one doesn't approach her with an honest motive or a sincere desire for friendship, she will know. The Queen of Spades usually has an exceptionally strong and richly lived personal life, but her appearance in a card reading doesn't signify romance. Her role is rather that of a protector, advisor, and confidant. Should a romantic relationship exist between her and your client, this is for readers, she will turn out to be quite a source of surprises, being both passionate and jealous. Her natural psychic abilities make her receptive to telepathic knowledge. So her advice should be carefully considered. Her powers of discrimination are sharp. Her judgment of people is accurate, insofar as she doesn't project anything onto others unnecessarily. Many successful people know a Queen of Spades, especially those in the field of art. For example, her high standards may provide an artist with structure, stability, inspiration, or she may be the power propelling the artist toward the top. Okay, so my husband's an artist, and actually he had like quit doing art until he met me. He was like, wow, because I have a picture that he actually painted of me like when we met. He was painting a picture, and then like within the 2 weeks that he was painting it, he was finishing when we met. It just sort of, I guess because we were around each other so much, the painting like turned into me. The face like turned into my face. People were like, whoa, is that Tony? But just as an added confirmation from the heavenly realms, let's look at the page number. Do you see it? The page on this is 144. Queen of the 144,000s, like I keep saying. So I go to my friend Jeremy's house, and he's a cool cat, and we like talking to him about, you know, strange and trippy. Where are my cards? Strange and trippy things. There they are. I was sitting on them. And we went to his house, and he's like really into seeds and different things. Well, first of all, I will get into this just briefly, that Sleepy Hollow is indicative of John the Baptist, the headless horseman, and that is why you get like Jack the Pumpkin King, and all these different characters, and the pumpkin and orange being a very symbolic. And you also find out that St. John the Baptist, or John the Divine, actually the Christa, the female Christ, was, they called her Christa, was actually crucified on the mount of John the Divine. Okay, so I'm sitting at my friend's house, and I see, he's like, look at these, check this out. And they were kind of sitting next to me. I go, oh, wow. And I look at them. They're called survival seeds, which you can look at that as Savior seeds or Messiah seeds. And I was like tripping out, and then they've got the pumpkins on the front. Okay, which they always symbolize Mary Magdalene as well. Her having been decapitated. And the story is that they rode his body around with like a pumpkin on it. And then if you look into John the Baptist and you go even further back, you'll learn about Saint Denis of France and Joan of Arc, and then even further than that, Saint Denis, the patron saint of Paris and House of Burgundy, and also Dionysus. Dionysus Day is October 9th, my husband's birthday. His name is Dennis. Pretty crazy. And we have linked tons of stuff back to us as an incarnate couple. So as I'm looking for these, like, whatever the spirit is that me and people like me are communing with, which is, you know, people call it the Holy Spirit, or some people call it higher self. I just say like source or higher self or whatever. I just say whatever. Who I'm talking to, I try to speak the lingo that they speak so that they can understand. It's not about arguing, which is right. It's just about understanding. So my higher self, God, spirit, whatever, was just like, open it up and pull out the Queen of Spades. And I had already been talking to my husband about, like, I don't know what it means that I'm the Rosemary. What does that mean? I'm not Catholic. I don't understand that, you know. And I was like, what does it mean, you know? And then my friend was like, rosemary is to ward off evil. And I was like, oh, I didn't know that. But so I pulled it out. I pulled out the Queen of Spades. And then what plant do you think is on the Queen of Spades? The rosemary. So this was like happening to me every day. Like, I mean, when I put a video on of myself up here and I say I'm the Queen of California, I'm the Queen of Spades, please know that God has shown me this to a point that I can no longer deny it. It was, you know what I mean? I'm not trying to like wake up one day and leave my church and like at 33 years of age just like have this awakening where I had to let go of all my religious systems and all the sewage that's been put in my mind. And I'm the Queen of Heaven and Earth. That's crazy, right? But God doesn't think it's crazy. My creator didn't think it was crazy. And it happened like, it was like every day where things were popping up and actually showing me who I am. The Queen of Spades, 144,000. Even the rash, the medicine for the rash is in the 4400 show. I mean, it's weird. It's like, it's weird. It's weird stuff. It's totally weird. Like when I was listening to Michael Leslie's video about the Black Madonna, I was like, the divine feminine, which is a male. It's like Allah or Haya is one God comes down and separates into two bodies, a male and a female. And so I was like, you don't want to be like, oh, that's me. Or like, and that person is, I was still going through a lot of deprogramming at that point and not really knowing, because I've had some stuff happen to me and like people prophesying over us at the farmer's market saying that, I mean, like literally, look at the Matt San Pedro prophecy that I posted on my channel. I didn't make that up, and I don't think that Matt was lying. People have come up to me and told me that those people were lying to try to manipulate us, like to get into their church or give more. I've been knowing these people since I was little. There's no way Matt San Pietro was lying. There's no way that this guy stopped my husband up by Yosemite and stopped him and said, like, I need to talk to you before we get off this mountain. I have to tell you this. And how he was like walking on farmer's market and he sees us and he hears this voice say to him, this is the end, which was what I was whispering to myself. He didn't hear it. He was far away. And he heard a voice say, no, this is not the end. This has just begun. These two will do great things. And when I heard this, I'm like, what does that even mean? This was a long time ago. I'm like, we had like all these kids. I mean, it's just a mess. I mean, they're not even like ours and stuff. It's just like such a mess. You know, we didn't have any, it was just, we had like a 15 passenger van. We're like going to church. It's just like, oh my gosh, you know, like, we were like, well, whose kids whose? We're like, we don't know. It doesn't matter. But like, I mean, we just thought at this point, my husband did not necessarily think this, but I thought at this point, like, I think our kids are going to be like really important, you know, and I think that we need to like, you know, just be like taking care of these kids. Like maybe this is what we're supposed to do. And I like kind of wanted to open like a foster home. My husband was like, she's crazy. Like, I open a damn foster home. And then like my stepdaughter was all, this is a group home. And I was like, I know, right? But, so at that point, you know, it was all just like, well, it must be just about the kids, is what I thought. And then suddenly all the kids were gone. After we had like taken them from court and stuff, it was just like 2 kids and that was it. And life just went whoop and really slowed down. And then like one by one, bink, 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 people were just falling out of my life. I mean, like people that you don't want around, but you feel obligated to them, or you feel sorry for them, or you feel like you shouldn't judge them. They were just falling off of my life, and they were like leeches, just sucking from me, and God just ripped them all within a week out of my life, and it was weird, because some of them were family members, but through it all, for about 6 months, I mean, I remember being over at my friend's house way before all this stuff started, way before these videos, crying on the phone, and with somebody else, getting all these weird words from different people, and things that were coinciding with prophecies that have happened over my life in the past, like, 13 years, and crying, and my friend being like, what is going on? And I was like, I don't know. God's doing something in my life. I don't know what it is, but something big is happening in my life, and God's doing something in my life, and I don't know what it is, but like I have to quit smoking pot. I have to quit like everything. Like God's doing something in me, and I have to like prepare myself for it, but I don't know what it is. And so thus began this the culmination of my initiation as the Queen of Heaven and Earth, the Queen of Spades. And so in a sense, the Christiak. And I'm not the only one. Okay, it's not just for one person. So like some weird stuff was happening, and it was just being shown to me over and over again that I am the Rosemary, that I am this individual. And then I got Mike Bickle, which was given to me by the church. Somebody lent it to me. I don't even remember whose it was. And then I gave it back to them finally after like 13 years. I gave it back to her. I had it for 13 years. I listened to it all the time, and I gave it back to Tiffany. And I had to buy her a new one because it was so scratched. But I had it in my computer. And I used to listen to this, like, I would be the one, like, scrubbing my ex-husband, I swear. I had, like, tools and a workbench. That shit was mine. I took 2 years of woodshop. So I'm the one who would be, like, outside sawing the yuccas down with, like, a foaming chainsaw, you know, with, like, goggles on and my shorts, you know, like, I want this yucca. I hate it. This giant yucca in front of our yard. So I'm, like, hacking it down. You know, I'm the one with the Wagner sprayer. You know, like, I was the one who worked on things. I was the one that we had, like, a giant pond with a waterfall in our backyard, like, bigger than a swimming pool. And I was the one in the pond with the giant thing, like, getting the junk out, you know, like, that's just how I am. I'm not, like, a really fancy chick. So, where was I going with all this? Darn it. I'll have to go back and watch it again. I wish I could pause. I can't pause on these. I wish I could. So anyways, basically, oh gosh darn it, I lost my train of thought. I just knew that God was doing something in my life, and then it was beginning. And there was just all these weird prophecies and people telling me things, and it just started to get really weird. And then, of course, one day, on one afternoon, I was just sitting at a friend's house, and something happened to me. I haven't, I've gone and talked about it a little bit, but, I mean, something happened to me. There was people there. People saw it. It wasn't just, I mean, I wasn't just, like, playing out something out of me. I had to get up and leave the room. I couldn't move my lips. They were, like, closed. I couldn't move my lips. It was literally like something was unlocking. Something was unlocking. It felt like information was coming down into my brain, but it also felt like it was coming up out of me. And I mean, I just saw everything, and it was just very overwhelming. And I knew exactly then what I was supposed to do, and I hadn't even found the Stargate yet. That is the day I found the Stargate. That is the day that God told me that I had the rod and the staff, and that I had to be like Thoth, and that I had to take back the gate. And I did not understand this. I was like, what am I supposed to do? Go to Egypt? Like, I'm not going to Egypt. I haven't run a worldwide business. I can't leave it anywhere. I can't even go to Oregon to visit my friend. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't even, like, get away for one day. You know, I had friends that have, like, vortexes where my phone won't work at their houses, or they have, like, fair day, and so they won't work. And so I call them oases because I can go to the house and, like, my phone doesn't go crazy with business and everything. And so I was like, there's no way I'm going to Egypt. Like, I can't go to Egypt and stuff. Like, I need to do this here in America somehow or whatever. I just didn't know that the Stargate was 5 minutes from my house. And suddenly the symbol, like, flashed into my head, and I saw it. And I didn't even wait for my husband. I just jumped in my car and I drove down there. And when I started walking up and I started seeing it, I could feel my connection to the ground, to the site, to the earth, to the cosmos. And it was very weird. And I never understood why Moses had to take his shoes off. And God was like, Spirit, and it was like, take your shoes off. And you're entering Holy Land. And I was like, this is weird. But I had sandals on, like flipped them off. And there's like a dirt center in the one of these spirals has a giant dirt center. And then it shows a depiction of like Indians like digging there and the Omega symbol. And so I went ahead and took my shoes off. I stood in the middle of this spiral, which is dirt. And I just raised my hands and I prayed the Lord's Prayer. There's like people there. And I raised my hand and I prayed the Lord's Prayer. But I always pray it now, Abu Mishmea, which is Mother and Father of the Cosmos. And I always don't leave out the Mother now. And so basically when I opened my eyes, something was different. I could understand other languages. I could understand specifically a lot of Hebrew. It was to the point where when it first happened, I was writing, and sometimes I would put Hebrew symbols instead of English, and I'm like, this is so weird because I don't like know Hebrew, like I know it, and it's weird to me. And so I can look at something and see like where the errors have been made. Everything's just started to come together, and then the real heavy communication started, where I just was getting, from what I understand, this is the etherics, and the etherics are like what you would call your guardians or angels or whatever. I don't call them that, but the etherics are those ascended masters and beings that help us, that we came here, those of us like me, we came here with help, and it's them that help us. So they talk to you through nature. Like, for instance, when a bad police officer came to my house and we were going over the human trafficking stuff, when he left, I'll just get into this a little bit because I don't do any witchcraft or any stuff like that. But there is one thing that I did this one particular time, because the police officer was coming into my house. I did put a devil's trap underneath my mat, and he did walk around it. And then when he went out to his car, I got in his car, my tree, the eucalyptus tree, which is all sacred Native American land that I live on. So this tree started to shake, and it was shaking so hard that the people across the street and catty corner over came out. They were like in their garage, and they were like watching, and I was looking out my kitchen window, and I could see it in my driveway shaking. And then randomly, my husband had moved my car further. He's like, I was not allowed to drive my sports car. So I was like, he just moved it, and I was like, yeah, that's fine, just move it, because he wanted to, I think he was washing it, or he was doing something, maybe he's getting the garage or something like that, and he was like, I'm gonna move your car. I was like, that's fine, that's fine. I think he wanted to put it on the sidewalk, and I was like, no, I don't want it on the sidewalk, I want it in the driveway. I was probably being a bitch or something. I was like, no, I don't want it on the sidewalk, I want it in the driveway, that's why I have driveway. And so he just like backed it up. Well, he wanted to move it all the way out, and it turns out that if he had not moved it, because the tree was shaking so hard that a gigantic branch fell off, and it fell like right where I had parked my car. And I don't know if you've seen my cars in my video. My car, maybe I have a Mazda RX-8, and so like literally it would fall in like on top of my hood and cracked my window for sure. It was a giant branch. And then like a week later, the neighbors just cut that tree down. And I was like, whoa. And then when they cut it down, I didn't know this, but the shape that they cut into the tree is like a spider. And so I was like, ooh, what is that? Like, that's weird. Not trying to trip out on too much iffy stuff, because there was like plenty of weird shit that's real to trip out about. So I kind of let, little things go. And it was about maybe a couple days later, I was like rubbing my husband's shoulders, and we were in the backyard talking, and I just like started praying for him, and then suddenly the tree that we were under started to shake, and it shook so hard that the unripened peaches fell off and started hitting our barbecue and like hitting things. And I backed up, because whatever I was doing, I was not supposed to be doing. Like, I realize now, I can't go into my husband's stuff too much, but I realize now what exactly that is. And in a sense, you just have to know about Mary Magdalene and Asher. And she comes back, and with this guardian demon I shall return and smite the sleeping world awake. So you have to know about that, and then you can kind of understand why Earth was stopping me from doing this. Because I had the power to pull something out of somebody if I wanted to, out of their chakras, and pull the seals if I want to. I've done it. And so if it's the will, I can do it. And so that was weird, because the tree was like shaking, and like unripened peaches were falling down and banging on everything. And then 2 days later, my Catholic neighbors, then they cut that tree down. So I'm like, what is going on? Like, every time I have this experience, like these neighbors of mine who have the key of Osiris on their door cut down the tree. And it was just weird. There's weird synchronicities that happen that you just gotta go, And this was one of those things. And so I went to the Stargate. Yeah, I got like the gift of translation, and most definitely the etherics. They commune with us. It's gotten to the point where, because my husband's very skeptical. He's not one of those people that he just believes everything. He believes like nothing, and he was he had like all the religious programming that I had too. But we were both just kind of like, yeah, it's cool. Maybe not, but it's cool. Like everything can't be exactly in this book. You kind of don't be stupid. But we both had a real heart towards God, so we just kept along with the program. And so basically, where I was getting with this, I got the gift of translation and the etherics, how they talk to us, how they communicate with us. It's gotten to be like so crazy. For instance, they moved around someone's entire Coast to Coast channel, so that when I went at 3 a.m. to go listen to my bootleg of Coast to Coast from the night before, because my husband worked the night shift, and so I was up all night. And I would go get my Coast to Coast, and I'm like, oh wait, should be uploaded. My bootleg should be ready. And so I go, and mainly this is because I just have a radio here, and I hate commercials. I just can't stand their commercials. So I'm a Coast to Coast insider now. I pay the money now. Okay, now I have archives. So somebody rearranged the channel so that this particular video would pop up on their program for me to watch, because I went to the same thing, and I'd watch the same thing every night. And I kept saying that it was from 2012, and I was like, did I say 2012? And I look at the thing, and I'm like, no, this is February 19th. That is so weird. And then And then I kept listening, kept listening. It was all about the 4400 and the Red Queen and Lord Paycow and the Red Queen. And I mean, it was just so much Solomon. It was just so much stuff in the 144,000 and the coming of the Christos and the 13th cycle and the carousel of the Matrix and reincarnation and, I mean, how to get to heaven, how to send people to hell. I mean, it was just blowing my mind. I listened to it 3 times. Maurice Cotterell was his name. He was interviewed by George Knapp. And I listened to it several times. And then when my husband got home in the morning, I tried to get him to listen to it. He was like, I couldn't listen to it. I was like, hey, you got to hear this. And he's like, man, you've been up all night doing this, listening to this? I can't. I've been slaughtering, like working on like cow slaughtering machines. I can't do this. He's like, I got to go to sleep, you know? So, you know, he went to sleep. He fell asleep on the couch trying to watch it. And then later on, I tried to pull it up so that he could listen to it. This video was not just deleted from this person's channel, and all the other Coast to Coast videos were on there. It was deleted from my browser. It was deleted from my history. It was deleted from existence. I had to remember that guy's name with my photographic memory and start looking up previous Coast to Coast shows, which they were all had been deleted. So then I was like, well, that's kind of weird. And then I started to get personalized videos on YouTube, which would then be deleted, completely taken off, telling me who I am, what I'm here to do, who's helping me, not to be afraid, that there are no shape-shifting reptilians, that this is a CIA hoax, that our guardians, our ancestors, they call themselves our ancestors, are here and they're already helping us, and that you do not need to fear that. And I mean, just so much stuff, and I was like, whoa. 2 minutes later, I go to try to watch it again, gone. Gone from my computer, gone from my history, gone from my browser, gone. And this happened several times. One of the times, I've talked about this before, that I was getting ready to give up, and I was like, you know what, because no one will believe me. And I was just like, which I already knew that that was going to happen, but I guess some of the people that turned their backs on me and didn't believe me shocked me. It was like people that want you to believe like crazy things, like the same people that would try to get me to believe in like time travel, and the same people that would try to get me to believe in like the rapture and like weird satanic stuff, you know, that they found, or different things, wouldn't accept this beacon of hope. And it didn't fit into their program or their paradigm at all. And so it was like very discouraging, and I went outside, and the police actually showed up down at the river site because I had found that they had buried bodies out there. And so I was like going down there, and I told my dad on the phone, I was like, Dad, I found the Ark of the Covenant. Do you understand? Like, you know, and right when I said that, a cop car went whizzing over to the river. I said, no fucking way. I dropped everything I was doing. I got in my car. I went around this way. I'm not kidding. They were like hiding. So they must have known how we were going to go into this park when we went in. They had to have known how we were going in. Because when we went in, we had planned on going in a back way. So they actually were hiding in an area that we couldn't see and leaving that back way open so that if we went in there and were digging, that we would get in trouble. So I was like, I can't believe they're like waiting to see if I'm going to show up. How do they know? And so I was tripped out on that. And then I thought, you know, if my dad's not going to believe me, and people that have been raising me up, telling me that I'm some prophetess and I'm some this, and that, and this divine destiny, and people have driven all the way from San Jose to come because God told them to come, and then it's me they meet, and I have this divine destiny, and do I know, and all this, and I'm going on a journey, and God's going to give me what I need, and then all this crazy stuff happens to me. So these people aren't going to accept the reality of what's going on with me. So I started crying. I was like, you know, let these people drown. God, let them drown. Let them drown. Let them die. Let them burn. It's their own fate. I mean, they can choose. And I was like, I'm going to do what I'm going to do. And I'm going to go to heaven. And I'm going to do what I'm supposed to do. And fuck all these people. And but I was really upset. You have to understand, I was very upset. And I have to apologize. I'm like, and because I had like spiders in my nose, like it freaks me out when my nose, but we have like all the blooms. It's beautiful, but the blooms are all blooming in Tulare County. So a lot of people that come here that are visitors trip out because we're Tree City, USA. There's like so many allergens in the air. It's driving me crazy. I have like, I swear, a narcissist like in my nose. So I came in the house crying, upset, like truly broken, truly disappointed in the people I looked up to, truly disappointed in humanity, and truly ready to just be like, you know, I'm gonna do my own thing. I'm gonna be a good person. I'm gonna go to heaven, to everybody else. And I plopped down on my couch, and I'm just like, God, just let him drown, let him die. I mean, I understand why this keeps happening to people, but you know, Moses pleaded for people over and over again because there was just so much wickedness, and people are so self-centered and service to self. And so I felt that, and I didn't feel like I wanted to plead for these people to God. I really didn't. And so I plopped down on the couch, and my TV is hooked up to my computer. A screen pops up about this big, and it's a skull, and it had flowers around it. And it looked at me, and like the eyebrows moved, and I'm like, who did this? Like, why would they even like go out of their way to like make it so the eyebrows would like move? And it said, if you give up now, you get nothing. I mean, seriously, nothing. And the eyebrows were like, nothing. And it was gone. And I was like, what the fuck is this? What is going on? Like, who did this? I was like, what? And at this point, I start going, who's doing this? Like, who can know me in my house? Who can know what I'm really feeling inside of me and then do that fast? So it was weird. And then a bunch of other weird things started to happen. I mean, some weird stuff on the internet. And in my house, I have pictures of a burn mark on my leg where, I mean, I'd been burned by some sort of like digital harassment, electrical harassment. But I actually don't think it was me being hurt on purpose. I never felt it, and it never hurt. I just got into the shower, and I had a giant burn across my leg. I went to my iron to see if, like, maybe while I was working, could I have, like, burnt myself? I think I would remember, but stranger things have happened. You know, with me, I'm kind of, like, crazy. I want to run around. I get burned. I don't think about my elbow. People are like, you okay? I'm like, what happened? So I was like, you know, maybe, I mean, I had to have had, like, 10-inch heels to do that. And I'm not working in 10-inch heels, okay? And you can think that if you like, if that's how you like to see me, but I don't work in 10-inch heels. So I was like, this is really weird. And then I turned on my Coast to Coast, like I always did, and the show from the night before had been about digital harassment. It was everything that was going on. And so I felt like, and this has happened several times with Coast to Coast, I felt like that this happened to me so that I could see that what this person was talking about, this MK Ultra and these things, was real. It was very real. And so it was like them showing me, like, this just happened, so you need to pay attention. Same thing with the Aurora shootings and the Newtown shootings. I was directly linked to them through strange events that have been orchestrated. Orchestrated? have been orchestrated. So that's me. That's who I am. My past incarnations, I have been Ashudari. I have been Mary Gedjua. I have been Queen Semiramis. So I am part of that entity that speaks in Proverbs. That's who I am. That is the spirit that I have. That's my soul. And I'm not the only one. Like I said, there's representatives. We are ambassadors for this divine presence. My speaking is like so strange. So today, because I have work to do, I'm like, I gotta go work. But my that divine presence, that's what I carry. That's what I am. So my life has not been easy because I had to learn a lot of things, and I had to learn them divinely and be initiated and crowned into this position, which did happen to me. And I will share that another time when they gave me my crown and my staff, which I felt like it was like a scepter or something, but it was definitely like a staff, and it was definitely Native American and Viking, Valkyrie, I mean like specifically Valkyrie, which is the tribe of Dan. And that will be my next video, talking about the tribe of Dan, which is Denmark. So thank you for listening, and if you have anything to add about what I talked about, and just as a side note, I'll do a whole separate video just to let people know. On a side note, if you're like doing hate responses, if they are longer, like if you put your shit on here, I don't care. I don't care. I will leave your shit up because I laugh. Like people try to hurt me and get me. I'm like, you can't hurt me. Like I'm not even talking to my own mother right now. And like I got kicked out of my church. I mean, like there's people that married us and baptized us and did our marriage counseling, and they dropped us like in a hot minute. And I was like, people can't hurt me. You can't hurt me. I don't even know these people. And even if I do know them, I'm like, you can't fucking hurt me. Like, sticks and stones, folks. So if you leave a comment that is like this long, I am not going to read it, and I won't even respond because it's faster to delete it. So if I'm not going to read the comment, I'm not going to leave it on there, and I'll just delete it. So that's what I have to say about leaving comments on my channel. If you want to say something and you want to talk shit, keep it short and sweet. You're welcome to talk shit on my channel, but keep it short and sweet, or else I will delete it. All right? So just if they're hateful, if they're just nasty, I don't want my readers to come on here to read that. If it's a really truly objective perspective and it's, you know, noteworthy, and you're you know, putting it in there in a way that people can understand it, and it's short and sweet, then I'll leave it. But if you do like a page long of hate talking, why the fuck would I read that? I'm not gonna read it. It's just like forever. Like, can't you just say I hate you, bye? I mean, just get off my channel. It's just like that. Unless you have some motive, or you don't like what I'm saying, you know. And people are leaving the churches in town, and people do know what's going on. And even people that I meet, like in the churches, they're like, yeah, they're sacrificing people. We know about it. And I'm like, how do people know about it and they still go to church? I think a little part of them wants to believe that it's not happening, that it can't be true. So okay, so anyways, that's it. That's who I am. I am not the only queen. I am not above anybody. I am literally a servant here. I am here to help and to teach and to share, and that does not make me better or holier or exalted or anything like that. It actually made my life extremely difficult. I've had to walk through a lot of things so that you don't have to, so that I can bring this information to you, because a lot of people here don't want to talk about it. They're afraid. They're afraid to talk about this stuff because they have children. Woe to them who is with child or nursing in the end times. And there's a reason for that. And a lot of people are very afraid, and they are very scared, and they're afraid for their children's lives. And that's how you know that they're really not strong in the Lord, because they don't trust God to save their children and protect their children like God has protected my daughter over and over again. Like, these people tried to kidnap her, and my dad turned the corner, saw the whole thing, and was able to intervene. And that is protection. And that's how I know I can continue this, and that there are forces at work that are on my side, that are far outweigh the dark side. So here we are. That's me. Thanks, and God bless. Jobless.